Hey there, and welcome to my channel, The Paper Bag Investor. Today I want to talk about Tesla and their inclusion into the S&P 500, which happened today. Talk about what happened today and what kind of unanswered questions do we still have for Monday and next week. So let's get into it. And before I go any further, I just want to make it absolutely clear, I'm not a personal financial advisor, just a guy with a paper bag on his head who loves investing and thinking about the future. If you love investing, you love thinking about the future, I encourage you, hit that subscribe button down below, follow along with my channel as it grows, and become a better investor with me. And I also want to make it really clear, I'm not by any means an expert in index funds. I've been investing for about 12 years, but I've never even actually owned an index fund. I believe a lot more in the power of owning individual companies. It's kind of my investing philosophy and follows that philosophy. And index funds have their place, I think, but I'm definitely not an expert. So this whole Tesla inclusion in the S&P 500 has definitely been a big learning experience for me, and I know for many others as well. Something I learned is that index funds that actually track the funds, such as the S&P 500, they really care about actually following the exact performance of their fund, following what the S&P 500's performance as a whole should be. And so for them to add Tesla in today or before Monday and the market opens, it means they want to add all their shares at the closing price of today's closing price. So this was actually brought forward kind of to light to the Tesla retail and investor sort of universe by Rob Maurer of Tesla Daily Podcast. Really awesome podcast. And he brought this fact forward, and that's exactly what happened. That all these index funds basically had buy orders at the very closing moments of when the market closed today at 4 p.m. Eastern time. And it kind of makes sense, actually, that you'd think, first off, someone might hear that and think, well, it's going to be kind of this infinity squeeze. You have 130 million or so shares that need to be purchased all within a few minutes of each other. But it kind of makes sense because this announcement was made, over a month ago. There was time for the market to react to this moment. There's time for hedge funds to be buying up shares with the plan that they would sell them index funds. There was plans for money managers who may have been holding Tesla for a number of years to sell some of their shares or all of their position to index funds. Individual investors, there was time basically for the market to understand that this was going to happen and react accordingly. And the market's also a very dynamic force. You have to remember that. People, I think, sometimes think of systems or things in a very static way. So they think, they have this huge buying pressure that's going to happen from index funds, and it's just going to infinity squeeze the stock too, from $700 a share to $7,000 a share or something just, insane like that. But of course, as the stock started rising up, and I'm a hardcore, Tesla enthusiast, Tesla bull, Tesla long-term investor. But as much as I would just love to say, hold my shares for 10 years out, and that'd be my, your plan and my strategy. For anyone really has a price on their shares that as the stock even started to shoot up in those final moments, there'd be a certain price where you would sell your shares, and the next guy would sell his shares, next guy would sell his shares. So basically what I'm trying to say is that the market as a whole is very, very efficient, especially when you give it time to react to an event that's coming up. And there was lots of fireworks at the end of the day. The stock price, if you look at the stock price in the last 2 minutes of the day, it shot up $40 a share, more or less. And there was about 69 million shares transacted, that much volume in the last few minutes. Actually, the whole day volume for Tesla, it was just insane, a record-breaking day. Typically, it's been trading at about 40 million shares a day. I'm going to read a tweet from Eric Balchunas. He said, next level, Tesla just obliterated the all-time volume record for an equity in a single day, with 148 billion worth of shares traded today, beating SPY's 118 billion high water mark set during March is chaos. For perspective, Microsoft trades at about $5 billion a day. So in terms of actual dollars transacted in a day, they totally blew away the record for this day. It's not totally clear to me though, since there's only about 69 million shares transacted in that last little window of time. The question I'm still wondering, the big question out there is there was somewhere in the order of magnitude of about 130 million shares that were going to be transacted or bought by purchased, I guess, by index funds, I should say. So there's a super high volume spike at the end of the day of 69, 70 million shares. But where's the rest of the shares? Did the index funds actually get them all? Did the market, in the time it just takes to actually price up and meet each buyer with each seller as the price rises, did they run out of time as that's calculating to a certain point, and then not all the shares that were wanting to be purchased were purchased? Is there some kind of time constraint? I'm not exactly sure. If you know about this, if you've heard something, know something, if you're an index fund more of an expert or more knowledgeable in this, please let us know in the comments down below. I'm definitely all ears and would be happy to learn something from you. So it still remains to be seen whether we could still have another momentum surge on Monday or not. Still not totally sure. Or maybe some of these index funds were able to buy sooner in the day and just knew for the fact that they would be slightly out of alignment with the overall performance, their performance versus the S&P 500's performance. Not totally clear to me either, but my understanding is that those funds really want to match then the benchmark of their fund performance with what the S&P 500 should be. And last final point I want to make on all of this S&P 500 inclusion, which is really exciting as a Tesla investor that they've been added to this S&P 500. It's the biggest index fund in the world. But for me, as a long-term investor, I'm actually kind of looking forward to being done talking about the S&P 500 inclusion. Just have this over and done with and move on to the next steps, the next things that are for Tesla. Because as a Tesla investor, I don't get really excited the fact that they're in the index fund. That's great, but I don't get really excited about that, because as an investor, I really try to think about the companies I'm buying actually as the business function that they provide. What's the product or service that's exceptional? What's the growing market that they're creating or that is growing, or that they are single-handedly creating and growing? That's what excites me, and that's what excites me as a Tesla investor, is this idea of all the technology that they're pushing forward at a rapid pace. And just the love that the customers have for their products, that gets me very, very excited. The vision and the master plan they have that I think will get them to achieve full self-driving. And I'm not sure if anyone else really has that vision or master plan in place to achieve level 5 full self-driving. Gets me very, very excited, because those kind of pieces of the puzzle of the business are actually what drives the business. Those are actually the frameworks of the business. This is kind of more, being added to the S&P 500 is great and it's exciting, but that has nothing to do with the actual foundation of the business itself, which is the products, the service, the ingenuity, and the rate of improvement that Tesla and their team can bring. And that's what really excites me about Tesla. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below about this video, about Tesla joining the S&P 500. Do you still think that there's going to be more shares purchased by index funds on Monday or not? Let me know in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel but you got value out of this, please encourage you to hit that subscribe button as well. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great day.